Welcome students to the another lecture on financial market and services, and we are continuing with the environmental analysis of micro enterprises. What did this environmental analysis actually means? That we have covered up in the last lecture, and environment analysis, in the environmental analysis we have covered up the pastel analysis. What is this pastel analysis and why do we want to do environmental analysis for microfinance institution? I will be covering up first that, then we will be proceeding again. Fine. So, in the last lectures we have covered up various factors which were affecting the micro enterprises, and for those factors we have done the pastel analysis, or we have seen the pastel analysis. What is this pastel analysis? It is an analysis which is developed to analyze the environment, the business environment of a particular organization or a company, and here we have done the pastel analysis of the microfinance institution. In the last lectures we have covered two types of analysis. The first was the political environment, and the other one was technical environment. Both these environments we have studied for the micro enterprises, and now then we will be moving to the new, other environment, and this we will be covering in this lecture. And these environment are, the first one is the socio-cultural environment analysis. What is socio-cultural environment analysis? What are the factors which are affecting the micro enterprises? Economic environment, what are the economic factors, what is the legal environment, and these three factors which were remained in the last session we will be covering up in this session. Fine. And after that we will be concluding that how this pastel analysis is helpful in analyzing the market environment for a micro enterprises, and what the micro enterprises need to analyze the environment for their sustainability. Fine. So, now we will be proceeding towards this lecture of ours which is covering the socio-cultural environment. So, what is this socio-cultural environment actually means, and why do we need this socio-cultural environment to be studied in the context of micro enterprises? What are the social factors? If I ask students what are the social factors, the first thing is the mindset of the people. Mindset of whom? The mindset of the local customers who are buying our products, and they are also termed in other terms they are also known as the demographic factors. Fine. The demographic factors, what does the demographic factor include? You all are MBA students, and you have studied in the first year the research methodology and the demographies. What are the demography? Demographic factor includes the profile of the people, profile of the customers who are living. They are that is the aging of the, what is the age of the customers, the population, their education, and how wealth is disseminated between them, and how they are responding to their culture. Fine. So, the socio-cultural environment includes the social factors, and the second dimension is the cultural factors. What are the cultural dimension means? Cultural dimension means they consist of the customs, the lifestyles, and the values of the society. For example, if I talk about our country, India is a culturally rich nation where we have diversity of culture, diversity of value system, and we are said to be people who work on values. For a country like India, if a company, if a microfinance institution possesses value system, it will be an added advantage, or we can market our product on the basis of our value system. So, we can say that the socio-cultural dimension of the people who are living in the country also affects the enterprises who are running in that country. It includes some complex factors which are to be analyzed, such as the religion of the people. See, in many countries the religion does not play an important role, but in some countries the religion play a very important role. For example, if I talk about micro enterprises, when we say there are certain religious beliefs on which people are working on, and they buy products which are following their beliefs. For example, the Islamic banking system, and the Islamic banking system is the best example where they are successfully doing a banking without taking any interest, as their religious belief says that you cannot charge interest from people, or you should not earn interest. Fine. So, we can say that this religious belief also play important role when they are setting up the enterprises. Language we all know is a very important aspect, because when the language can be a barrier or language can be an advantage also. Once the company is well versed in a regional language, it will be able to penetrate into the market more easily. The third one are the education and the ethical beliefs. The education system of a particular region, the education standard, the literacy level plays a very important role as a factor for affecting the enterprise. Fine. So, these socio-cultural environment, how do they help us? How do these environment help us? Why the study of these environment important to us? So, these environment help us for what? For obtaining the resources. For example, I am knowing a language of a particular region. I will be able to better communicate with the suppliers. So, it would be helpful for me to obtain the resources from a particular market, and it will be even an added advantage when I will be selling my products. You may be seeing in many markets the people are talking in the regional languages, and when they find the people out of same region, they have a rapport with them. So, it plays an important role. When it comes to the socio-cultural environment, and that is why it is only important to study the socio-cultural environment. Fine. What are these socio-cultural environmental factors? Now, coming to the factors which we study in the pastel analysis or which we analyze in the pastel analysis. The first is the social tradition. If we talk about a country like India, where we always say there is a unity in diversity. What does that mean, this unity in diversity? This unity in diversity means we have a number of social traditions, and the people are working on those social traditions. People are following those traditions, and there are many markets where if we are not following those traditions, we are not able to survive in the market. For example, the dressing of in our country, there is a social tradition of wearing a particular dress in a particular region. Say for example, if we go to the Kerala, people have a different type of style of wearing clothes, and such type of products are sold over there. So, when a microfinance institution is or a small enterprise or a microcredit company, whatever, those who are penetrating in those market or they are launching them in those market, they have to keep in mind these social tradition, so that they would be able to survive in that market, make a place in the market, create a market share. Then comes your value and beliefs. I have many times told, value and beliefs are sometimes inherited, or sometimes they are already prevailed in a particular society, in a particular family. If I say the belief of the people in a particular region is about a particular food is not good, we will not be able to sell that product in that region. So, whenever we are launching our product in a particular country, in a particular market or in a particular region, this factor is also very important. I have given you the example of Islamic banking also, and somewhere it is one more example which is also visible is the halal meat. Many research has been done that there is a particular belief about this, the halal food, and it is their belief and they strictly follow that norm. And I think it is a great privilege for the companies, those who are trading into such type of products, to concentrate on a particular region. Fine. Next, level and the standards of literacy and education. For example, I am going to sell my product which is technologically very advanced. If the product is very advanced and it needs a lot of technological knowledge to run that product, then it will be impossible for me to sell those products in a region where the people are not educated, and for in that case I will not be successful as an entrepreneur there. So, that is the other factor. The third factor which comes is the ethical standards and the state of society. Which state of society is there? Somewhere the society is very advanced in some countries, there is a women empowerment, and somewhere it is a patriarchal society. So, what type of society we are, it also plays a very important role. Fine. And that is the social satisfaction. At this extent of social satisfaction means how people are satisfied in a particular society. It also creates a space for a particular region if I am working for that region. Clear? Next is the conflict and cohesiveness. In a society where there is a lot of conflicts, where there is disturbance in the society, there is a very lesser scope for a new enterprise to run and make a breakthrough in the market. In that case, what we have to do is, in that case, we have to find a product. It will be difficult for us to start with a product, a new product with a new technology. Fine. So, we have to be very careful if we are planning to operate in such a society. Fine. Then the last, but we have completed all this, it comes to the summary, that is religion, language, education and ethical beliefs. It is a sum up of all those, and these are the socio-cultural factors which are to be kept in mind when we are starting a micro enterprise, and this is the important step in our PASTEL analysis also. The second one comes your economic environment analysis. What do you understand by economic environment? Much talk about nowadays. Everyone is talking about the economic environment, the GDP, the economies during the COVID times have gone to extent, lower extent, and we don't know by what time we are going to survive again, revive our economy and what all. So, what does this economic environment actually mean us? Fine. Economic environment mean the situation, the state of the country, state of the country's economy or the region's economy. Fine. State of the country's or a region's economy. That means the region where I am going to launch my product, what is its economical state, which type of economy it is. It is a liberal economy. Fine. There are more and more restrictions. What is the regulation? It is a growing economy. It is a underdeveloped economy. All these things are economic environment, and it has a significant impact on the industries. It is very much clear that it has a very much significant impact on the industry. On what? On the profitability of the firms, because when the people are economically backward, when the people are economically backward, they will not be able to, their purchasing power will be low. Fine. Their purchasing power will be low, and with a low purchasing power, no company will be able to sell its product or service. Fine. Got my point? Is it clear to you all? So, when I say the economic environment, they are all those factors which affect the micro enterprise and which are a part of the economy of a particular region or a country where my product is to be launched. That is the economic environment. Fine. And the survival of my company is dependent upon that environment. Why? Because I have told you this is the purchasing power. Fine. If the people are not ready to buy, say for example, when I talk about the nations where they are developed economy, a SUV or a luxury car is a common factor. But when it comes to economy, developing economy like India, still we have market, but we have market for small cars is much more larger than those SUVs and the large cars. Why is it so? Because of the purchasing power. Fine. And this purchasing power is determined by what? The economic situation of the country, the economic situation of a particular state. Even if I say state wise, or I am talking about India only, state wise also the economic capacity or the purchasing power of the people are different in different regions, and this is to be kept in mind while starting a micro enterprise. Got my point? So, that is it. When we start a micro enterprise, the economic factors or the economic variables are to be kept in mind, and which are affecting my enterprise. Fine. Now, when the local economy, for example, there are certain turmoil in a particular state. Fine. And the people, they are having conflict, or a particular state government is not performing well, there is a disturbance, there is some unrest among the people. In that case, the situation for the enterprise is also very difficult. Situation for enterprise or running business is also difficult. Secondly, if I come to a country level, there are three important things which are to be considered, that is the exchange rate, inflation level, economic growth and employment level. What is the impact of exchange rate. First, exchange rates are, what are exchange rates? Exchange rates are the rates by which one currency is exchanged from others. For example, I have set up a micro enterprise and I have got a export order from a country, fine. When I have got an export order and the payments are to be received in dollars, say for example, the dollar exchange rates are lowered. So, my net returns will naturally be lowered down, got it? My returns will be lowered down, my profitability will be reduced. So, the economic factor, that is exchange rate, is to be kept in mind, and there are different techniques. You all are finance students studying security analysis, portfolio management, hedging and arbitrage. These are all done for what? They are all done for regulating the exchange rate. The second is the inflation level. What is inflation? Inflation is what we say when we say inflation, when the prices of commodity increases, and naturally when the prices of commodity increases, it means that everything is become what? Everything is become more and more dearer. That means it is more, we have to pay more price, and if I have to pay more price, it means I will be going to buy a lesser amount, and this will be going to impact the micro enterprises demand, fine. So, it also plays an important role, and all these things are contributing to the economic growth rate. Right now, if we talk about, everyone has become economist and everyone is talking about the GDP and the growth of economy, and when the economy grows, when the economic growth rates are forecasted to be low, it impacts the micro enterprise. So, think of a situation, if actually the economy is not growing, how much it will be going to impact our micro enterprises or the firms, fine. The last but not the least you all will be worried about is the unemployment. Each and every person, is student who are studying in this class, is worried about their employment, and when think of a situation where the unemployment is rising, is the purchasing power increasing, whether the people will buy a product or service? No, we cannot create demand if the people are not employed, because if they are employed, then only they will have a purchasing power, fine. So, the employment plays a very important role, and what are the employment levels of in an economy is an economic variable or economic environment variable. That is the reason we have to study these economic environment, because there are many variables which are affecting our micro enterprises. Now, if I want to conclude them, fine, or if I say ki I am not going to explain or summarize what will be the factors. So, when it comes to summarizing of those factors, the first one is the state of micro enterprise or the business cycle. Okay, very important aspect. What is business cycle? Okay, business cycle is a situation where we can see that how the business has evolved, fine, how the business is started, then it reaches to its peak and then recession, fine. If I say about a company Nokia, we talk about Nokia. Nokia when has launched the mobile phones in the market. When Nokia was introduced, it made a breakthrough in the economy of India, and everyone has a Nokia. It reaches to the peak, and after that it is all gone. What is the reason? The business cycle, what does business cycle mean? That every business has a cycle and it works on that cycle. But after a certain point of time, that is a peak, if you do not diversify yourself, you will be leading towards recession, or you will not be able to create the demand. So, it is very important that my product is in which part of business cycle and which strategies to be formulated. When you are at the peak, you have to plan for the diversification of the business. How will I diversify my business? What will be my strategy for the business? How I am going to evolve my business? If my product is going to be obsolete, what will be my next product? Should I add on to my product line? Should I add more products? Should I be technologically advanced? Should I adapt a new technology? These are the points which we have to keep in mind when we are running a micro enterprise. Because if we see the situation nowadays with the micro enterprises, their sustainability, and what is the reason of a low sustainability? The reason of low sustainability is now lesser technology adoption. What is this lesser technology adoption is? The micro enterprises are not ready to adopt a new technology, and naturally their costs are increasing, and when they have increased costs, it results into lesser profit, and the lesser profit is again hampering their existence in the environment. Clear? Second part, distribution of income within the population. In India, best example is we have not evenly distributed population economically. Fine. We have people who are much above income level, and we have people who are below poverty line also. In that case, when we are starting our micro enterprise, we have to see this distribution. We have to closely monitor the distribution, and how this distribution will impact our enterprise again is very important. The third one is the government monetary and fiscal policy. What are monetary policy means? Monetary policy means the rules and regulations which are formulated by the Reserve Bank of India for taxation, for banking, for finance, and these are directly impacting our need for funds, our utilization of funds, our acquisition of funds, and which are to be kept in mind. Similarly, the fiscal policies are also impacting any micro enterprise which is running in an economy. Fine. Then comes your trade restriction. What are trade restriction? Very clear example from today is that we have restricted many apps here in India, the many Chinese apps in India. Naturally, many of the people who were working with those would have been hampered. Fine. That would be a loss. So, we have to keep in mind what are the trade restriction for a particular product we are producing. If we are producing this product or service, whether we are going to sustain in a long term or not. Fine. Then comes your money supply, which is being supplied by the financial institution, the microfinance institution, the credit institutions, and who are giving fund to our enterprise. How much, what is the money supply, what is the CRR, SLR, all these effects, the flow of money in the economy and the liquidity position of the economy as well. Fine. Then comes your institutional lending, which is again a part of money supply only, that how the institutions are lending, what are the legal provisions, what are we getting from these institutions, what will be the process for it, is there ease or is there will be difficulty, all these factors are to be analyzed, which document are we requiring. Fine. Then comes your productivity. Do we have all the factors of production available, or do we have a stock of all the inventory and the food items available in that particular economy? These are the economic factors which we have to study for a microfinance enterprise. Then comes the third of today, and the sixth factor, which is the legal environment. The word legal, when it comes to our mind, what does it indicate? It indicates law. Something legal, that is related to the legislations, to the regulations which the government has made. And everyone besides who is working in an enterprise, who is not in an enterprise, everyone has to abide by certain rules and regulations. So as our micro enterprises also, or the microfinance institution also, the micro enterprises are very much affected by the legal environment. Right now in July 2020, when the definition of micro enterprises has been changed, and many laws have been benefited for their existence. There are many laws which are set up for their existence, and the enterprises have benefited from the new definitions and the new regulations which the government has formed. So, the legal environment of a particular region, particular economy is important when we are considering the micro enterprises. Fine. Any institution or an organization should understand what is legal in a particular territory. For example, if we say in the northeast region, there are certain rules and regulations which are made looking to the situation of that particular state. So, whenever we are operating any enterprise, it is important for us to see that what are the rules and regulation, what are the legislation, what are the operating factors which are applied in that region, what are the consumer laws, what are the laws for the healthy and safety, what are the laws for the environment, what are the trade regulations. All these things are to be kept in mind when we are analyzing what? When we are analyzing the legal environment, and this legal environment analysis is very important so that you can run your enterprise, very smoothly without any hindrances or legal hindrances rather I should say. For example, if I say that I have set up an enterprise and I have not gone through the environmental laws which are there. After some time I will be realizing that oh, I have broken this law and I have to pay the fine. Again it is going to be a cost to my company. So, we have to analyze the legal environment. Fine. These legal factors include what? The first one is the business laws. Business laws means law for micro enterprise. Fine. Second is what I have told is environment laws and guidelines. Remember a time when in Delhi NCR there was a lot of pollution. At that time all the construction work was stopped. What was that? It was the environment law and the guides, and the guides were, rather I should say, in the guidelines which are being given. Fine. Then comes your health and safety guidelines. We all have to follow the health and safety guidelines while setting up our enterprise. The machinery, what will be the safety rules to operate in a machinery, how we will be operating in that particular machinery, what will be the environment, if there is a pregnant woman in the enterprise, is it going to hamper her health, or I will be providing healthy environment, I will be providing a healthy services, sanitation and all these comes under legal factors. After that, if my enterprise is international or it is dealing with certain export and import, in that case we have to consider the international trade agreements and treaties. In that case, we have to consider international trade agreements and the treaties. Fine. Why we need to consider this? Because at times it may happen the laws between the two nations will affect my enterprise, or the relationship between the two countries will be affecting my enterprise. Suppose there is a situation where there is a disturbance, political disturbance between the two economies. At that point of time, the people who are trading, if the flights are stopped, if the shipping is stopped, fine, how will I going to, or the cargoes are stopped, how will I am going to sell my product there. So, this international trade agreements and treaties play a very important role. Then comes your regional and local laws. During the lockdown, this all we have come across. In a particular region, there will be a lockdown on Tuesday, in a particular region, there will be lockdown on Thursday, and my business will be affected by that also, because for in that particular day, I am not going to earn anything, I am not going to start the production. So, we would always be aware of this. Fine. So, these are the legal factors. Fine. Got my point? Now, first I will be summarizing it, then I will be starting. The first thing which I will be summarizing is that we have covered up the pastel analysis, and what does this pastel analysis means? It is the identification of the external factors which are impacting my enterprise, and I have to analyze those factors for the success of my business. Second, it is effective for the micro enterprise also, because once we will identify these factors, we can also assess them. And after assessing these factors, we will be able to analyze the techniques which are helpful to cope up with the uncertainty of the environmental condition. And you all know that if we have overcome the uncertainty, naturally our risk is reduced. It means that we will be able to sustain for a longer time, and we will be going to make consistent results or existence in the economy. So, it is very important for any enterprise to do their environmental analysis, so that it is helpful in analyzing situations, SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunity and the challenges for a micro enterprise. I think you would be clear about the pastel analysis. Thank you so much, and I think it would be a great session.